Well, it's been the hip place to bowl in Portland for a while, and now Bayside Bowl is celebrating its 15th anniversary.
And a huge event is planned to celebrate not just any event. How about a 3-day event? Joining us this morning to talk about the past, the present, and the future of bowling in Bayside is owner Charlie Mitchell. Charlie, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, talk about the 15 years. Has it flown by? Can you believe it? Can you believe we're talking about 15 years?
I never ever saw this coming, honestly. And one of the reasons I brought this giant trophy is just sort of the background of Bayside Bowl is when I first moved back to Maine, I guess it was 18 years ago, I started a bowling league just to try to get through the winters. And we didn't have any experience in bowling. We didn't know what we were doing, but built this amazing community. In the first season, 12 teams, the next season, 22. And by the third season, we built Bayside Bowl to host that bowling community. And so this sort of traces all of that. These are all the teams that have sort of built the league. And so it's really funny because, it was built almost like a clubhouse for my friends, and then it's turned into this great community spot for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So why the Bayside area? Why did you want to bring something like this there?
Well, when I was looking for a space to host this vision, I lived up on Munger Hill at the time, and I looked all over Portland. And I used to go, there was a place called Skillful Vending down there, and they had everything from pinball to fake dog poop and just gimmick things and poker tables. And I used to just go in there and play games and hang out. And I was driving by it one day and I saw a for lease sign, and I just immediately got out of the car, and because I at that point knew the specs of a bowling alley, and I was walking around, pacing it out, measuring it, and I was like, we can do this, we can fit this right in here. And I liked the building, I liked the neighborhood, and it was, as soon as I found that spot, it was a go.
And has it exceeded expectations, or is that an understatement?
Yeah, that's an understatement. I mean, we jammed 12 lanes into an old warehouse, and then 7 years later, we're building a 3-story expansion with a rooftop deck and a mezzanine, and then now, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, we're opening up another center over in South Portland. So. Yeah, it's exceeded every expectation I had.
Wow, and you guys aren't just bowling. There's live music, there's a bar. Tell me, why all these things together?
Yeah, one of the places that I had lived before Maine, I had lived in New Orleans, and I used to go to a place called Mid-City Lanes, which is more commonly known as Rock and Bowl. They had great shows there, so I always had this idea that bowling and music were tied together, so that was just a piece of it. And then I think if you open any facility in Portland that's in the hospitality industry, you have to kind of step your food game up a little bit, because everyone in Portland expects a really good meal wherever they go. And we've been able to do all of that. The music venue is really taken off. We've had some amazing touring international acts. I mean, the lineup that we have coming up for this festival is pretty remarkable. The food, I mean, we do weddings on the roof all the time now. That's become a really big part of our business, and we host company parties. And I think one of the great things about Portland is, anywhere you go in town, like if you're going to go to a restaurant, your bartender or your server probably bowls in a league. Jeff's bowled in a league, Chris bowled in a league. I mean, so everywhere you go in this town, we built this bowling culture and bowling community. It's just it's a really neat thing, and it kind of runs counter to what's happening in bowling nationally, but right here in Portland, it's a big part of the community.
One of the things that we wanted to talk about for a long time, Bayside Bowl was the rowdiest spot, the most favorite spot for the Pro Bowlers tour to come to town. They loved coming here. It was unbelievable. It was live on national television. And talk about the memories you have from that, and also the fact that it's not going to be back in 2025.
Yeah, the PBA is not back this year. I can't actually guarantee you it won't be back in 2025, because they are starting to line up their new schedule just this summer, and I don't know when they'll be back next, but there is a chance that they will be coming back under their new TV contract. What happened in I guess 2015, Shamrock Sports out of Portland at the time worked with the PBA as their marketing group, and the commissioner was in town, and they just came over to have a beer. And the commissioner of the PBA saw what was happening on one of my league nights and just asked what was going on, what was so special. And I was like, it's Tuesday. This is what we do every Tuesday. And he just fell in love with it, and was like, this is the kind of energy I want to see in bowling. Well, let's take a shot at it. They brought their team event to Bayside, and the rest was history. We really revolutionized what was happening on televised bowling. And you know, honestly helped the PBA get their next big TV contract. They used to bring, whenever they needed to make a sale or do anything, they would bring them to the Bayside to show them. I mean, we had tailgates in the morning, and we had, you know, just special events all day, and hundreds of people in there in costumes, and loud and celebrating. Became the players' favorite stop. We get bowling tourists from all over the world because this is the one bowling alley they've seen, and they want to come play on those lanes. They're 3 and 4 or 2 and 3, where the PBA was. So it's a pretty special event. It is sad that they're not there, you know, haven't scheduled it for this year, but I do expect them to be back in the future.
And what do you expect to see at this celebration happening, this 3-day celebration? What can people expect there? What's the atmosphere going to be like?
We're going to do all the things that we do all the time. So we have an incredible music lineup on Friday night, just sort of as a nod to Maine. We actually have the full band of Rustic Overtones playing, and then Saturday we have, you know, as a sort of nod to the New Orleans thing, we have the Dirty Dozen Brass Band coming to headline on Saturday. And then Sunday we'll finish with a rooftop show from Primo Cubano, which is always a great event. But we also are hosting the Maine Beer Company tournament that we'll be running. It's a $4,000 first place prize. So on Saturday and Sunday there's also a bowling tournament to go in with that. And then of course there'll be great food all weekend. So.
Yeah, it's funny. I lived in New Orleans for a while too, and that Bayside reminds me of rock and roll totally. So just a party atmosphere and so much fun.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, for the folks that want to get more information about your anniversary celebration coming up, how they can get tickets, what's the website?
Yeah, you just go to BaysideBowl.com, and all the info is right there. It'll even take you a link to the tickets. You can buy a full weekend pass, or you can come to any one of the shows individually. And if you want to just watch the tournament, that's all free. You can come to that and just have a good time. Come celebrate with us.
That first night, Rustic Overtones, that's an iconic band for Maine.
It is, it really is.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks.
Enjoy.